YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Entering week 6 of the NFL season, we're going over some bold takes sent in by you guys through our Twitter. Do this video every single Thursday. If you want to play along, make sure you follow our Twitter. There's a link pinned in the comments for that. Anything else that you're looking at on your screen right now, there'll be links for those things pinned in the comments as well as that Twitter. Make sure you follow that. But going to go over some bold takes. I'm going to react to them, and some every week are for the upcoming week or for this season in general. So let's go ahead and break them down. So first one is a season-long one from Ben Smith. The Browns only win 4 more games this season, and wanted to take a look at. And I'm gonna say, I already know the answer. This is piping. This is pretty piping. Looks like he's a Browns guy too, maybe just based on his profile picture there. But I already know this is piping because I've already taken a look at the schedule when Deshaun Watson comes back. So forget the upcoming games. Patriots, winnable. I just said forget it. We're going to break it down. Patriots, winnable. And they got some division games. They got some tough ones in there, Bills and Bucks. Forget those games, though. Deshaun Watson comes back for the Texans game. Texans, Bengals, Ravens, Saints, Commanders, Steelers. I was looking at those games, and I literally think all of those are very winnable when they have Deshaun Watson. I think people forget that the Browns are, as long as Deshaun Watson just somehow isn't bad all of a sudden, which I don't think could be the case. I think the Browns are going to be a pretty dangerous team with Deshaun Watson. You know, right now they're already pretty effective on offense, mainly with running the ball, maybe a little better than expected passing the ball. They're struggling to close out games. That's the problem, and their defense is a little underwhelming because we expect it to be easily top 10. I think it's going to get there, though. I think maybe not. Maybe it won't be as good as we thought it would be, but I think it'll get better. And then you factor in Deshaun Watson, you're going to be more effective passing the ball. It's going to kind of throw off game plans for opposing teams, defenses. Like, you know, do we have to worry about the runs still? Like, we got to worry about Deshaun Watson. Like, what do we have to expect? We don't know what to expect. So I think they're going to win. And to say they're only going to win 4 more games this season, it's pretty tough because they're going to win at least 4 of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that Deshaun Watson plays. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win 4 of those, maybe at least. They might win all. I like the matchups in those games. It's very early to say. I think it's pretty piping. I'm just looking at the rest of the games here. But an interesting one to think about. I think people are forgetting that the Browns may get better later this season. It's kind of they're the team I'm really watching maybe the most because they got to manage. They got to close out these games. That's pretty tough because they could have a really good record right now. They'd be looking really good for the future of this season too. So they're a team to watch. You know, can they close out games? Can they do enough damage for when Deshaun Watson comes back that they're still alive? And then how good are they with Deshaun Watson? Because I think myself and a lot of people think they can be pretty good. So it's definitely a team to watch for sure. Carson Wentz simp. The commies will absolutely crush the Bears. Let's forget that part. I was looking for a Brian Robinson Jr. one, and maybe somebody else tweeted one. Maybe I didn't see it. We got 100 replies at least to this, so I kind of skimmed through. So I apologize if somebody else had a better one involving Brian Robinson. But Brian, because since he got the nod, he's going to be the lead back apparently, and he's going to start. We got that confirmed tonight, which I'm really excited about because I was a big Brian Robinson guy out of Alabama, and now he's got kind of a story because what happened, heading into this year. But Brian Robinson will have 100-plus yards and 2+ touchdowns. So, yeah, second game back, first game starting, and he's a rookie, so it's his first season in the NFL. Pretty tough to do that. Asking a lot of him, sort of, with the 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns. We're playing the Bears, who are struggling run defensive team there. So it's definitely a good one. In the first part, I kind of want to focus on the Brian Robinson part, but the first part, I picked the Commanders to win. And I was pretty confident just because of the matchup. I really love the matchup for the Commanders, but now there's a list of guys that are hurt. Or William Jackson, I don't know if he's actually hurt. I think he wants to be traded, I know he wants to be traded, but I think that's why he's out. So I think it could be closer than I originally thought. But I could see them crushing the Bears. If Carson Wentz plays well, I think they have a better. I mean, look who they played. The Commanders. They played the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Titans. Those are pretty stout defenses, especially the Eagles and the Cowboys there. That's the last 3 games. So maybe a little bit easier a matchup. But it's Thursday night. They're beat up in Chicago. So I don't really see an ass beating. But that second part I want to focus on. Brian Robinson Jr. will have 100-plus yards, 2+ touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. If it was just 2 touchdowns, I think If this said 80 yards, it's only 20 yards left. If this said 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, I would actually say it's happening. But 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns together makes it that much more difficult because they're going to give the ball to Gibson and McKissick. I'm going to say Warren. I almost went realistic with it because they're going to split, I think, 3 ways. I think Robinson has a pretty good game. I think he finds the end zone. I think he runs pretty well. I like the 2 touchdowns part. Maybe that happens, or maybe Gibson gets in as well. But yeah, looking forward to this game. I think people are kind of expecting it to be maybe like last week. I don't think so. I think we're going to see more offense than what people are talking about here. Nothing crazy, but kind of looking forward to it. It's football, so of course we got to look for it. Chef Mac. Raiders go on an 8-0 win, so they go on an 8-game win streak. And I was actually tweeting that the other day that I think the Raiders are one of the teams that are a losing record right now, under 500. They're 1-4. To be able to go on, they can go on a win streak going forward here. I really believe that. And I was looking at their schedule, and looking pretty favorable for them, I guess, if I want to put it that way. They got the bye week this week. They play the Texans. I think we can expect to win. They're at the Saints then, which is, that's no guarantee. But as of right now, I like the Raiders in that one. The Jags could be a tough one in Jacksonville. Depending on, I still don't know the Jags' true identity. I don't think anybody really does. They looked really good earlier in the year. Now they're on a 2-game losing streak. They just lost to the Texans. I think they're kind of in the middle of all that, where they looked really good, and then people will say, they lost to Texans, they're bad. They're still the Jags. I don't think you can label them off one game. They're kind of in the middle. But I think the Raiders probably got to be the favorites. The Colts, I don't know if the Colts can keep up offensively with the Raiders. The Broncos, I would say the Broncos might be able to beat them because their defense really can slow them down, and it's definitely possible. But the last time they played, it really wasn't even anywhere near the case. Seahawks, I'd imagine that'd be a shootout. I'm going to trust the Raiders in a shootout. We're predicting the games way down the line. Home against the Chargers, so this time around they're home, obviously, against Chargers. They lost to them in the first game of the year. This time around, I think the Raiders could be better down that stretch this season than they were the first time they played them, and the Chargers are a lot more beat up, especially at the tackle position. So I think the Raiders would be the favorites in that game. And then at Rams would be the 8th game to go on that 8-game winning streak. And, that's got to be a tough one, obviously. But I think with Max Crosby and company, they might be able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford and create some plays there. So it's possible they're a favorite in that one as well. So out of the 8 games, I think all of them are winnable. Actually, winning all 8 is another story, I suppose. Maybe they're bound to slip up once. This is weird because anytime you see anybody they're going to go on an 8-game winning streak, it's pretty damn hot, at least hot. Could be piping. But I look at the schedule, and I'm kind of feeling the Raiders. I think they turned it around in that Chiefs game, really. Even though they lost, they really figured something out. Maybe in the Broncos game even, later in that game. It's tough because I think it could happen. I said they would win 8 out of the next 10, I think I said, or 7 out of the next 10 was my take. I still think I almost went warm, but I think it's hot. They're bound to lose one of those games. I don't know if they lose more than one, though. If they do, it's a good one, though. I think the Raiders could get going there. Excited to see what they can do. We got the bye week this week. We'll see if Devontae Adams is suspended. Patrick Tibbetts, Daniel Jones has more rushing yards and touchdowns than Lamar Jackson in a Giants win over the Ravens. Danny Dimes been running pretty well, so he's got to get more rushing yards than Lamar and touchdowns. Didn't say rushing touchdowns, just touchdowns. This is a good one because, the Giants got Martindale. It was the old Ravens defense coordinator. Maybe his main game plan and focus is slowing down Lamar's legs, his running game. And maybe they could have success. They're going to make Lamar beat him through the air, and Lamar could definitely do that. And therefore, maybe Jones could run for more. I still don't think it happens, though. I'm going to go hot. That's making me think, though. It's really making me think. Maybe I'm overthinking. Rushing yards and touchdowns. That's a good one, though, because first glance, you think Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson, hell no. Lamar's got this. But you got to think about it a little bit. I think it's possible. I'm going to go hot, though. That one still got me thinking a little bit. What do we got next? King Random Guy. Ron Rivera gets fired if the Commanders lose to the Bears. Yeah, first glance, I thought about this. I did a hot seat video a few weeks ago, and it was a way too early hot seat video, but I had on the hottest of the hot seats, I had Matt Rule, who just got fired. So it was right to have him. I think everyone had him on there. I think we were all right to have that. I had Frank Reich and Ron Rivera because they're doing such a poor job with the Commanders. I think coaching isn't an issue. It's not the main issue, not even close. I mean, he just threw Carson Wentz under the bus as well. He's a defensive-minded guy, and he was a defensive-minded genius at one point, but the defense is underwhelming at the same time, so I think maybe it is time to move on. But do they fire him during the year? They wait till after the year's over. But if you lose to the Bears and you're 1-5, winnable game against the Bears, you just threw your quarterback under the bus leading up to this game. You got guys asking for trades. William Jackson, that was some news this morning. Then it's looking so bad that maybe they have to fire him. Who do they promote, though, to the head coach job? Do they have a guy that's really going to change much? They got a little bit of a mess going on, of course, with their owner. So part of that, it's tough because part of that's like, okay, again, just threw his quarterback under the bus. They're 1-5. They shouldn't be that bad. He's a defensive guy. The defense shouldn't be that. If they lose to the Bears, they're 1-5, I should say. They're the defensive guy. The defense shouldn't be that bad. So it's just time to move on. This isn't working. We had him make moves, go get Carson Wentz. I know that's not all him, but and then get the job done. So that'd be a reason why, yes, they lose to the Bears. It really should be realistic. But I think the messy stuff of the organization, I don't know if they want another distraction like that, and who do they hire? So I'm gonna. It's so good. I don't know if I should go hot or warm. I think I can like I did already. I can argue both sides. I'm going to say hot because we're pretty specific. They're going to lose to the Bears, and he has to get fired after this game. Not the next one, not the one after that. So it's pretty specific. So I'm going to go hot, but I could see it at the same time because it's probably – if they lose to the Bears, it's well-deserved. It's well-deserved that Ron Rivera gets fired there. So that'd be his old team, the Chicago Bears, doing the damage too. That'd be interesting. What do we got next here? Nick Bell, this is a funny one. Old Yeller makes an appearance on next week's Pick'em. I'm going to go piping. I just don't think we're going to get Old Yeller on the show. Maybe 1 point. Well, that's number one. He's not really an on-camera type of guy. He just sends me his text of his picks and his takes, and I usually say them on the Pick'ems video. Number two, I don't know, you guys can't really tell here, but yeah, I mean, I can cover this whole box by myself, and we a little bit different setup when all the other guys are here, but it's actually very difficult to fit all four of us on camera, and then factor in the green screen, of course. Really could fit all four on camera, but we have a pretty damn big green screen too. It's weird. It's complicated, tough to explain, but so adding a fifth guy, I think you would have to replace somebody for a week, which is doable. But for those reasons, I think it's pretty piping. I think more so the first part, but it's pretty funny. People keep asking who Old Yeller is. We still didn't really reveal that. And where is he? Is he going to be on the picks videos? Maybe someday, but I think that's pretty piping to expect definitely in next week. So that's a funny one there. Kobe White season. Oh, I sure hope it's Kobe White season. Diehard Bulls fan. And Kobe was pretty good the first half of the year last year. And then the second half of the year, he was pretty terrible. Looked like he had the yips. I don't know what was going on. So sure hope so. But Daniel Jones proves himself. So another Daniel Jones one. I like it. Daniel Jones proves himself this year and gets a fat contract. So this is kind of an end of the year, this season / end of the year one. So I like it. Something different here. And it's very interesting to think about because, like what if he keeps playing? I mean, he's not playing great, but he's playing well enough. He's playing much better than what he has with the way he has been playing. He's taking care of the ball for the most part. He's running well. I feel like he fits Daboll's system there, obviously, and then maybe another year he can get even better. He is owed a contract, though. So it's interesting to think about, like, what do they do? Like, because they're playing pretty well right now. I wouldn't imagine. I mean, they could. It's the Giants. It could go south out of nowhere. Not that I'm expecting it, and they could have a top pick in the draft again. Not expecting it, but it's possible. But as of right now, it's looking like they may not have a pick where they can go, yes, we're gonna grab a future quarterback there. So they may be in a position where they have to bring Daniel Jones back, even if he's, even if he doesn't play as well as he has been playing. So, but if he continues to play the way he does, proves himself, gets that fat contract, is that possible? I think I guess define fat contract. To me, fat contract is several years, pretty good amount of money. I'm gonna say that part makes it piping. The fat contract part makes it piping. Daniel Jones proves himself this year. That part's he's kind of doing it right now. I guess define prove yourself, but kind of doing it in a way right now. But gets that fat contract. If it says proves himself and gets a contract back with the Giants, a pretty good contract back with the Giants, I would actually go almost opposite. I would go realistic or it's happening. Like Daniel Jones proves himself and gets a good contract or a good 1 year. That's where I'm kind of going. I think he probably gets signed for. I'm going to predict right now. Daniel Jones signs a 1 year with the Giants, a pretty good 1 year, not like crazy amount of money, but pretty good. Nothing, not a slap in the face to him contract, nothing like that. I think maybe a 1 year deal, a 1 year more of a prove it. So I guess maybe that would mean you have to prove it next year. So maybe I guess that means he doesn't prove himself. But so I'm gonna say piping because of the fat contract part. I think the Giants will still be open to get better, which is good. You always want your team to be willing to get better. Always. Every team, the best team in football, it needs to be like that. That front office, that coaching staff, they need to always think that way or they're never going to win anything. That's just how it is. I think this new staff looking good so far, including the front office. I think they should have that mindset for sure. And then we got one more here. We got from Brandon. Nick Chubb and Ramondre Stevenson combined for 250 yards on the ground, similar to Eckler Chubb last week. Yeah, so Eckler and Chubb went bonkers last week. And then it did look like you can, based on what the Chargers did, you can run on the Browns. And we know you can run on the Chargers, so that would be a big reason why. So let's take a look at the Browns and the Patriots. It sure looks like you can run on the Browns. Definitely more than expected. But I think the Chargers maybe threw them off a little bit because when you're playing the Chargers, the game plan's got to be let's drop in coverage. Let's focus on Justin Herbert because he's going to sling it. So they may have caught him off guard a little bit with the run game. So I don't know if the run game will continue to be like that against the Browns because they were caught off a little off guard. But it looks like you can do it, and you're playing a tough running team in the New England Patriots and Ramondre Stevenson. So I think it's most certainly possible he does his part at getting the combined 250 yards on the ground. And Nick Chubb, the NFL's best running back right now, I think up there with Saquon Barkley against the Patriots. The Patriots defense looks good, and people realize that. Maybe people don't realize you can run on the Patriots. So I believe you can run on them. I sure think so. So nothing insane, but and you got Nick Chubb there. So between Chubb and Stevenson, it looks pretty good. I think they both go over 100. I think they'll both go over 100. It depends on if somebody's just beating the shit out of somebody right off the bat where it takes the run game away, which was the case last year when the Patriots beat up the Browns. It got so out of hand that the Browns couldn't run the ball anymore, so our game plan's gone. We're done. We lose. So if that's the case again, I don't think that'll be the case. I think it'll kind of be back and forth a little bit. So I think they'll both continue to run the ball, combined for 250 yards. So somebody's got to, like Chubb 150, Stevenson 100, I think is pretty realistic actually. Or if they want to go like 125, or if it's you get the idea. Or Chubb with maybe goes over 150, Stevenson a little over. I think this is very possible. We know Kareem Hunt gets some carries. We know Damian Harris is not getting those carries from Stevenson though. It's pretty much gonna be all Stevenson. Could see the Browns stacking the box a little bit more. I almost went it's happening, but I'm gonna go realistic. I was kind of borderline going it's happening. I'm gonna go realistic on this one. That could happen though. That's a pretty good one. I like these ones here. We didn't have too many this week, but the ones that made me think. I like those ones a lot there. So that is gonna wrap it up for your guys' bold takes for heading into week 6 in the season. I like the season long ones there as well. If you want to play along, we are on Twitter. That's where we interact with you guys most, even though we have loads of content here on the channel. So follow us on Twitter, link pin in the comments, other links down there that are pretty useful. Like, subscribe to notifications on this channel. Also be much appreciated. Excited for Thursday Night Football. We'll be talking live during that game on Twitter, of course. But that is going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.